Welcome back to the channel. We are breaking down a massive performance in the Japan BLeague that is everyone talking today. If you are a fan of high-level Asian basketball, you know that the center position is a battlefield. And today, we saw a statement game. Kai Sotto has done it again. The 7'3" Filipino phenom just posted another massive double-double performance. But this wasn't just about the points. It was about who he did it against and how he did it. Leading the Kashiga Alphas into battle against the Shiga Lakes, Sotto found himself matched up against the league's premier scorer, the number one offensive threat in Japan, Brock Modem. The narrative coming in was simple. Could the young giant contain the veteran scorer? The answer was a resounding yes. We are talking about a final stat line that screams dominance. 16 points, a mountain of rebounds including a staggering 5 offensive boards, and 4 rejection blocks that completely alter the geometry of the paint. The Alphas take the win, but the real story is the physicality. We saw bodies hitting the floor, we saw heated exchanges, and we saw Kai Sotto literally blinding the opposition with his length. This was a grind-out victory that exposed some chemistry issues early on, only to be solved by pure hustle in the second half. Stay locked in, because we're going deep into every quarter, every possession, and every controversy of this matchup. This is your full breakdown. Now let's contextualize this game before we even look at the tip-off. The Kashiga Alphas came into this game needing a win. When you look at the standings and the momentum, every game in the B-League is a dogfight, but specifically against a team like the Shiga Lakes, the margin for error is razor-thin. Why? Because Shiga possesses arguably the most potent offensive weapon in the league right now, Brock Modem. In the scouting report, Modem is listed as a Japan Billy, the top scorer, the man averaging over 20 points per game. He is the engine of the Shiga Lakes. If you stop him, you stop the Lakes. But stopping a scorer of that caliber usually requires a double team or a specific defensive scheme. Kashiga, however, had a luxury that few other teams possess: a 7'3" rim protector in Kai Sotto. The matchup on paper was fascinating. You have a veteran savvy and scoring prowess of Modem against the sheer length and evolving defensive IQ of Sotto. And let's be honest, for the fans watching, specifically the legions of supporters from the Philippines and Kashiga, the expectation was heavy. They didn't just want to win, they wanted to see their big man assert dominance. The game opened with high intensity. Kashiga Alphas and Shiga Lakes fielded their starting fives, and immediately, the game plan was clear. Shiga wanted to run their offense through Modem, and Kashiga looked to establish an inside presence. Kai Sotto got on the board early. We saw a flash of brilliance right from the jump, a beautiful sequence involving Jeff Gibbs. Now, Gibbs is a veteran. He knows how to play this game, and he delivered a nice pass to Sotto to get the rhythm going. That initial bucket was crucial. It settles the nerves. It tells the defense, I am here and you have to guard me. But despite that early success, the first quarter wasn't smooth sailing. And this brings us to a critical analytical point that we have to discuss: the chemistry issues within the Kashiga Alphas, specifically regarding the guard play. We saw moments in that first quarter where the ball movement stagnated. The score ended tight, Kashiga 21, Shiga 18, but it felt like the Alphas left points on the table. Why? Because of the entry passes. There's a recurring frustration among analysts and fans alike regarding the service Sotto receives. You look at a player like Yuki Kawamura in this league. Kawamura is the gold standard. He plays with his head up. He anticipates the role. He feeds his bigs in stride. In this first quarter, we saw the Alphas guards struggle to replicate that level of playmaking. There were possessions where Kai had deep post position, hand up, sealing his man, and the ball simply didn't come. Or if it did, it was a beat too late, allowing the defense to collapse. We have to be honest here. The chemistry isn't fully baked yet. The imports and the local guards are still figuring out the angles. When you have a weapon like Sotto, you don't need to be fancy. You just need to put the ball where only he can reach it. We didn't see enough of that in the first 12 minutes, and that's why the game remained a one-possession affair. Moving into the second quarter, the intensity ratcheted up. Shiga Lakes began to find their footing. You have to give credit to their coaching staff. They adjusted to the Alphas' defense. This period was defined by a tug-of-war. Neither team could break away. The Alpha's offense had moments of fluidity, but Shiga kept answering. The Japan Billy, Brock Modem, started to hunt for his shots, trying to drag Sotto out of the paint. This is the classic counter strategy. If you can't shoot over the giant, make him move his feet on the perimeter. By the time the halftime buzzer sounded, we were deadlocked at 47 all. Think about the psychological state of the teams here. 47-47. It's a brand new game. But for Kashigeya, there had to be a sense of urgency. They were playing at home. They had the size advantage. But they weren't capitalizing on it fully. The second quarter showed us that if Kashiga wanted to win, they couldn't just rely on talent. They needed execution. They needed to solve that chemistry puzzle we talked about. They needed their guards to trust the bigs, and they needed the bigs to finish strong. Now, let's talk about the third quarter. This is where the game was won. This is where the narrative shifted from a close game to a statement performance. Coming out of the locker room, something changed in the Alpha's energy. It wasn't just Kai. It was the collective front court. We saw Tim Soares, sometimes referred to as Timo, really start to heat up alongside Sotto. That twin tower effect began to pay dividends. But the catalyst was Kai Sotto. He started to dominate on both ends. Offensively, we saw the versatility. It wasn't just dunks. We saw the mid-range shot falling. When a 7-foot, 3 player is hitting mid-range jumpers, the defense is in a crisis. You cannot guard that. If you step up, he goes by you. If you stay back, he shoots over you. And then the defense. This is where the blinded him commentary comes into play. Kai Sotto recorded 4 blocks in this game, but the stats don't tell the whole story. It's the shot alteration. There were possessions where Modem or the Shiga guards drove into the lane, saw Sotto, and just panicked. He blinded them with his length. He put a lid on the rim. The score reflects this dominance. The Alphas went on a tear, pushing the lead to 64-51. That is a 13-point swing in a high-level professional game. That is massive. They suffocated Shiga defensively and executed offensively. The guards finally started hitting the open man. The spacing improved. The chemistry, which looked so fragile in the first quarter, suddenly looked solidified. We have to address the elephant in the room, the physicality. This was not a polite game. It was a battle. There was a specific sequence that highlighted the tension. We saw a fast break, an F-break situation, where Kai Sotto was running the floor. Now, usually you see big men trailing the play, but Sotto was pushing. There was contact. We saw Modem go down. The input we're analyzing suggests a moment of pica, a Filipino term often used to describe getting annoyed or hot-headed. Modem, the veteran, the star, was getting frustrated. He was being outplayed physically. He was out of balance, attacking wildly, trying to force the issue. When you have the number 1 scorer in the league looking frustrated, looking at the referees, looking for calls that aren't coming, you know you have won the mental battle. Kai didn't back down. He pushed the pace. He ran the floor. And that mental edge, that refusal to be bullied by the veteran, is a sign of Sotto's maturity. He wasn't just playing basketball. He was competing that. Let's break down the final numbers because they paint a picture of a complete center performance. First, the scoring, 16 points. This is a solid, efficient offensive output. It shows he was involved, taking his chances and converting. Second, the defense. 4 blocks. We mentioned this earlier, but 4 blocks in a single game is elite rim protection. That is 4 separate possessions where Shiga thought they had points, and Sotto said, absolutely not. But the most impressive stat, the one that coaches love, 5 offensive rebounds. Let's pause on that. 5 offensive rebounds. In the modern game, many bigs are taught to get back on defense to stop the fast break. To get 5 offensive boards means you are battling. It means you are fighting through box outs. It means you are relentless. Those are extra possessions for your team. Those are tip-ins that break the opponent's back. When you miss a shot and your center is right there to clean it up, it demoralizes the defense. It's a huge thing for the flow of the game. The total rebounding numbers were high, securing another double-double. And despite the 3 points or minor scoring discrepancies mentioned in some reports, the impact was undeniable. He didn't just fill the stat sheet. He influenced the WIN, so the Kashiga Alphas take the win. They survive the chemistry scares of the first quarter, they survive the shootout of the second, and they dominate the third to seal the deal. For the critics who say the chemistry isn't there, this game is a rebuttal. It's not perfect, no. The guards still miss him on the roll sometimes. He's not getting the Yuki Kawamura treatment yet. But they figured out enough to beat a team led by the league's top scorer. For Kai Sotto, this is another brick in the wall of his development. He faced the Japan Billy, the top dog, and he neutralized him. He scored, he defended, and he hustled. But there is no time to rest. The nature of the B-League is relentless. They have a game again tomorrow. Same time, same opponent. Back-to-back games are all about adjustments. Shiga will watch the tape. Modem will be angry. They will try to counter everything Sotto did today. The question is, can Kashiga do it again? Can Kai repeat this dominance on zero rest? We will be here to break that down when it happens. But for today, the headline is clear. The Alphas win, and the big man in the middle is the reason why. Thank you strictly for tuning in to this deep dive. If you enjoyed this analysis, you know what to do. We will see you for the next tip-off. God bless you all.